morning, students of class 9. Today we are going to discuss the two features of our Indian Constitution. There are many features given in our book that we will discuss in the next video, but today we will discuss only just these two features of our Indian Constitution. Yes, the first feature of our Indian Constitution is that it is detailed written document. Okay, detailed written document. As we have discussed that our Constitution is the longest written document in the world. Yes, so originally the Constitution had only 395 articles and 8 schedules. Yes, but at present our Constitution has 448 articles, 12 schedules, 25 parts, 5 appendices and more than 100 amendments. Yes, so by this we can just understand that definitely it is the longest and detailed written document of the world. Yes, and at the same time it is the most balanced document of the world also. Why? Because we have taken important features of the constitutions. We have actually incorporated important features from the constitution of other countries into our constitution. Okay, like we have discussed in the previous video that we have taken many things from the constitution of America, Britain, like parliamentary form government. Okay, we have taken from Britain, Australia, Canada, Ireland, yes, South Africa also. So we have just taken the good things from the constitution of other countries and we have just put them into our constitution, and that's why our constitution is the most balanced document of the world. Okay. One important thing I would like to say that our constitution has made Hindi and English as the official language. There is no any national language of India. Okay. Often we get confused that Hindi is either national or official language. So please learn today that Hindi and English, these two are the official language of India, not the national language. Yes. So now we are going to discuss that why we say it detailed document. Some of the things we have already discussed and some of the things are left. That in the constitution we all know that in our country there are two forms of government. Actually there are three forms of government, three types of government, like central government, state government and local self governments. Okay, so and all these three governments are we can say independent in their jurisdiction. We have discussed that there are centralist, state list, concurrent list. Okay, so the subjects which are given in the central list, upon which only central government, national government, union government can make laws. In the state list there are many subjects upon which the state governments can make laws. In the concurrent list the central and the state both can make laws, but in the case of dispute the central government has the final say. Yes, so in this way we can just understand, because in our country there are three levels of government and the central state relation, how it should be, it has already clearly mentioned. The powers to make laws has been separated, okay, by our constitution. Yes, so that there will be no confusion, so that no one can interfere into the matter of each others. Yes, apart from these two governments, we have also made local self government by 73rd and 74th amendment in 1993 to look after the local affairs, because India is a vast country and just two government are not sufficient to manage all the things efficiently. That's why we have made the local government, because the local problems can be understood well by the local people only. So that's why we have introduced local self government. Yes, so the powers, the jurisdiction, the taxation system of all these three governments have been clearly defined in our constitution. Yes, okay. The next thing, we all know that there are three organs of the government: legislature, executive and judiciary. And we have discussed in the first video that all these three organs are equally powerful. Okay, so what are the powers and functions of legislature, what are the powers and functions of executive and judiciary, has also been clearly defined in the constitution, so that no one can just interfere into the other matter. Yes, so what are the limits of the government, what are the functions of the government of these three organs has been clearly defined. Yes, apart from this, there are many things in our country, like the election commission, which is responsible to conduct election in the country. Yes, so it has also been given, and election commission is also an independent body, so that it could conduct the election in free and fair manner. Yes, so all the powers are of election commission have also been mentioned in our constitution. There are provision of public services commission. It is also described in our constitution, because we all know that the rules which are made in the legislature, in the parliament, and which are made by the executives, and the executives actually implement the rules made by the parliament. So that's why there are provision of public service commission. Okay, through this organization, the administrators like DM, SP, yes, these are BDO in a state service public commission are recruited, and these are actually supposed to implement those rules and laws and policies which are made in the parliament by the executives. So these has things have also been clearly defined in our constitution. Yes, so UPSC, Union Public Service Commission. Yes, there is one body, and there are respective public service commissions for respective states also, like BPSC, UPPSC, MPSC. Yes, so these bodies also recruit administrators to look after the administration of the state, and UPSC is at national level, and it just looks after the administration at the union level and the national level. Apart from this, the power of Supreme Court is that it is the final interpreter of the constitution. It is also written in our constitution that only the the Supreme Court can decide what actually the rules, what actually the laws and different provisions are in the constitution. Sometimes the central government, the state governments just fight with each other. They just try to interfere in each other's matter. At that time, the confusion can be omitted, can be removed, can be solved. Dispute can be solved by the Supreme Court, because we all know that it gives decision. It is entitled to give judgment. Okay, so whatever the rules and laws have been described in the Constitution are just understood well by the Supreme Court. Yes, and that's why the judiciary has been made independent, like an election commission, like election commission. Judiciary is also made independent so that it can give free and fair justice to everyone. Yes, so that's why we can just say that Supreme Court is the final interpreter of the Constitution. It is very, very important. Yes. Apart from this, we all know that there are state governments. Okay. All the functions that we can see are conducted in the nation, the same functions are also conducted in the state governments. Yes. So regarding all these things, our Constitution has clearly defined the separate jurisdiction of state governments and central government. Okay. Apart from these, the other features that we have to read about the Constitution, like the fundamental rights, the fundamental duties, the active principles of state policy, secularism, citizenship, yes, federalism. So all these things have been mentioned in our Constitution in detail. Yes. So by this discussion, we can just understand that it is the detailed and longest written document of the world. Our Constitution is the longest and detailed document of the world. The next feature of our Indian Constitution is parliamentary form of government. What is parliamentary form of government? It means that Parliament is responsible, Parliament is entitled to make rules and to run the government. Yes, and Parliament consists of President, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. We often confuse regarding this. Most of the people, they say that Parliament consists of just Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, but it is not true. President, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, these three actually make the Parliament. Yes, and we all know that President is just the constitutional head of the country, of the state. Actually, the real power lies in the hand of the Prime Minister, who is the leader of the Lok Sabha. Yes. So actually, Prime Minister actually runs the government with the help of its Council of Ministers. Yes, and in this way we can say that the President is just the nominal head. Whatever the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers will say, the President has to follow. He is bound to follow the sayings of the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. It is made in our Constitution that the president has to act only on the advice of the prime minister and on the advice of council of ministers. He cannot take decision by himself. There are certain things that he can decide, but the most of the powers are given to prime minister and council of minister. Yes, but the decisions that are taken by the prime minister and council of ministers, they have to present them in front of president. Okay, because president is also a part of parliament, but whatever they are saying, the president must have to follow the words of the prime minister and council of minister. Yes, we all know that any bill becomes law after the consent of president. Yes, so in this way we can just understand that these actually the president, the prime minister, the other council of the ministers, actually they are making laws, they are running the government administration. So that is, it is called parliamentary form of government. Yes, and executives are responsible towards the parliament. How? Executives, there are two kinds of executives: permanent executive and temporary executives. The president, prime minister and all the representatives that are chosen by the people, they are temporary executives, because after the tenure of term of 5 years they can be removed. Yes, so that's why they are called temporary. Permanent executives, the like we have discussed, the UPSC, BPSC, yes, these body select the persons to implement the rules and laws made by the legislature and executives, made by the temporary executives. Actually, yes, and they work for the 60 years, we can say. After that they get a retirement, so they are permanent for a long term. Yes, so these are executive. So executive actually, even the president, prime minister and the other ministers of the parliament, they are responsible towards the parliament. Yes, they have to present the bill in the parliament. Executives has to represent the bill in the parliament. In the parliament, there will be debate on that particular bill. Yes, in this way we can say that they are responsible towards the parliament. They also present the budget in the parliament. Yes, and if the ruling party, the ruling government, suppose it loses its majority, in that case also the parliament can remove the government. Yes, we will discuss in further classes in class 10 no confidence motion, by which the ruling party can be removed out if it loses the majority. So in this way we can say the parliament, towards it the executives are responsible. They have to present each and everything in parliament. There will be debate and discussion, and if it is passed by the majority, then the bill becomes the law. They have to present the budget, and parliament actually it is the body which represents the country, which represents the people. Okay, so the executives are responsible towards the country, towards the people, because they are just elected by the people. So they have to say and present each and everything before the country, before the people in the parliament. Okay, and we have discussed that if suppose it loses the majority, they can also be removed out of the parliament. It means that the government will fall down. Yes, so in this way we can say that executive is responsible towards the parliament. Yes, so this is what we have discussed, parliamentary form of government that we practice in our country. In our country, PM is the head of the government and president is the head of the country. Yes, president is the nominal head and prime minister is the real head. Yes, and one more topic is given in our book about the feature, second feature, that is the cabinet. Actually, the council of ministers is made up of three kinds of minister. Actually, there are ministers of three ranks, and above all, at the top, the cabinet, the ministers who stood at the top, they are called cabinet ministers. Below them, they are state ministers and with independent in charge, and below them there are state ministers. Yes, so the cabinet ministers actually are the top leaders of the party, and they are being given the important portfolios, the important ministry like defense, foreign ministry, railway, education. Yes, these are the important departments which are just looked up by the cabinet ministers, and 95% of the bills that come to the parliament, they are prepared by the cabinet ministers. Yes, so in this way we can say that the cabinet and the head of the chairman of the president of the cabinet is prime minister. Yes, okay, so we can say that in parliamentary form of government there is very important role of the cabinet ministers. Yes, and prime minister is the head of the cabinet ministers. Prime minister is the head of the council of ministers actually, but the other ministers are rarely consulted on making policies and rules and laws. Okay, only the cabinet ministers are required to present, to give their advice regarding the rules and laws and policies in the presidency of prime minister. Yes, so in this way we have discussed the feature of our constitution, parliamentary form of government. Yes, a parallel system also operates at the state level, and we all know in the state the governor is the constitutional head like the president, and the real head of the state government is chief minister, and there is also council of ministers. Yes, which just advises to the governor. Yes, the same thing that we discussed at the national level in the parliament, the same thing happens at the state level. Okay, there the president was constitutional head, and in the state the governor was the constitutional head. The real head at the national level in the parliament, prime minister, and in the state level, in the state legislature, we can say the chief minister is the real head. Yes, and there are council of ministers for central government also and for state government also. So this parallel system works in a state. Yes, so in this way we can see that at a state level, the legislative council, legislative assembly, these are the legislatures. CM and other ministers are executives. Yes, at the country level, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, president. Yes, make the parliament. Okay, governor, I just forgot to say, in a state, governor, then with the legislative assembly and legislative council. Yes, so they are just two, and both can be said the parliamentary form of government, one for the entire country and one for the state. Yes, so in this way we have just completed the two features. The rest features we will discuss in the rest videos. Till then, goodbye. Thank you.